Things are heating up in the Gospel of Mark, friends. Can you feel it? The tension has escalated after, as we read yesterday, Jesus enters into Jerusalem and heads straight to the temple courtyards. He starts flipping tables, driving out the money changers, and publicly calls out the people who are profiting off the corrupt systems at the temple. They are benefiting at other people's expense. Unsurprisingly, the religious leaders aren't super happy about this, right? And so they find Jesus while he's teaching. They make a beeline for him and say, essentially, who do you think you are, Jesus? Who do you think you are? Whose authority are you acting under that you think you have the right to come into our space and do such a thing? And as part of his response, he tells a parable. A parable about a landowner who buys a vineyard, and he sets it up with all of the necessary equipment, but he doesn't want to live there. He's heading back to his hometown, so he hires tenants to live there for him and work the land and grow the grapes to steward the vineyard on his behalf. And so harvest time rolls around and he sends servants to come check up on their progress. But instead of doing what we would expect the tenants to do and just show the servants around, show them the choicest of grapes to take back to the owner and wine and give them a good report, they beat them or kill them. And this happens over and over again until, as a last-ditch effort, the owner sends his son. Jesus says this in verse 6. He still had one other, a beloved son. Finally, he sent him to them, saying, they will respect my son. Right? He thinks, surely they will respect that my son comes with all of my authority, won't they? Alas, those tenants said to one another, this is the heir, come let us kill him, and the inheritance will be ours. And they took him and killed him and threw him out of the vineyard. Okay. I think that it will be pretty clear to us that since he's speaking to the religious leaders, he is talking about how God has partnered with them and with Israel and invited them to be the tenants, to be his partners in creation, to bear fruit. And he sends prophets to come speak to them and maintain their relationship, and they either reject the prophets or persecute the prophets, sometimes even kill them. And these prophets who come saying, hey, remember this is all a gift. This vineyard that you've been given to work and be tenants of is an opportunity. Remember who God is. Remember what he's done for you. Remember the covenant you made with him. Remember the commitment and the relationship you established. And things get so bad that the father has to send his beloved son as his last effort to call Israel back. And here the religious leaders are making it very obvious that they will reject the son too. And as we all know, they're about to kill him. And so Jesus asks at the end of the parable, what should the owner do? What should the father do? He has given this land and given the tenants the property, the opportunity to produce fruit here as a gift. What should he do? And he says, well, I think the owner comes in and he kicks the old tenants out and he starts over with new tenants who are on board with partnering with him, who want to produce fruit for him, who want to be good caretakers and good tenants. And these new tenants are the church. Can you see that? The new tenants that God welcomes in to care for the vineyard is the church. The Gentiles that will be welcomed in, and the Jews who are repentant, who recognize what God is doing in Jesus and want to be part of the kingdom. You and I are the new tenants who God has entrusted his vineyard to and invited us to partner with him to produce fruit. But I think the unspoken question that Jesus wants us to ask ourselves is, what prompts a person to behave like these previous tenants do? What prompts somebody to act out in such bloody mutiny when this is what they signed up for? They knew they were hired tenants, that this land wasn't theirs, that the vines weren't theirs, that the equipment wasn't theirs, and that they were just stewards of somebody else's things. What prompts somebody to rebel in such a way when they knew that's what they signed up for? And I think Jesus is saying they forgot. They forgot that this wasn't all about them, that this vineyard wasn't just for their own gain, that they were playing a part in somebody else's story. They started to make it all about them and act on their own behalf for what would be best for them. And you and I are the new tenants. But this story convicts me because it makes me wonder, how close am I to, on a bad day, starting to rebel, thinking, this is all about me. This is for my own gain. I am the one this story is about, right? How easy is it for us to say, I am at the center of the universe and all of this revolves around me. God, I want you to revolve around me. I want you to get with the program. I want you to do the things that I want. That is so easy. I know this is true for me, that sometimes I can be so self-absorbed and selfish and just consumed with me. I wonder if you're the same sometimes. And I wonder if this parable might remind us, hey, God does care intimately about the details of your everyday life. He loves you. It matters to him that good things happen in your world. But you are not the center of the universe. He is. This is his story, and you are invited to revolve around him, to be part of the grand narrative that he is writing here on earth, which is the redemption and restoration of all things and making all of us new. He's at the center of the universe. This is his story. I am the tenant. He is the owner. And he cares deeply about our partnership. He cares deeply about me. But when things go wrong is when I put myself in the middle of the universe and make myself the point of the story. And so I wonder for you today, who's at the center of the universe? No guilt, no shame if you find that it is you yourself there. I do it so often too. But may this be a chance for Jesus to grab us by the shoulders and say, hey, I love you. And what's best for you is when I am at the center and you revolve around me. So, would you take some time to reflect today? Who's at the center? No guilt, no shame if it's not God, but take some time to pray. Remember that it's all a gift, and put him back where he belongs. Take care, friends.